Welcome back everyone to Trending Update USA. This is Steffan, and today we're diving deep into one of the most talked about storylines heading into the Australian Open, the growing, intriguing, and increasingly scrutinized animosity between two of the biggest stars in women's tennis, Coco Gauff and Iga Świątek. As the tennis world turns its eyes toward Melbourne, anticipation is already sky-high, not just because it's the first Grand Slam of the season, but because it may once again place Coco Gauff and Iga Świątek on a collision course. A former American pro recently described the dynamic between the two as intriguing, a carefully chosen word that hints at far more than just a competitive rivalry. It suggests tension, contrast, evolving narratives, and perhaps a rivalry that could define an era of women's tennis. Coco Gauff and Iga Świątek represent two different paths to greatness. Świątek, the composed, methodical, and relentlessly consistent world beater from Poland, has built her reputation on discipline, precision, and an almost machine-like ability to impose her game. Gauff, the electric American phenom, thrives on emotion, athleticism, adaptability, and a growing sense of authority that belies her youth. On paper, their rivalry is perfect. On court, it has become increasingly compelling. The former American pro's comments have reignited debate about whether what we are witnessing is simple professional competition or something deeper. Tennis rivalries have always thrived on contrasts: Federer versus Nadal, Serena versus Sharapova, Evert versus Navratilova, and Gauff versus Świątek fits neatly into that lineage. Yet, what makes this rivalry feel different is its timing. Both players are still young, still evolving, and still shaping their identities not only as athletes but as global stars. Świątek's dominance over the past few seasons has set a benchmark that few can match. Her multiple Grand Slam titles and extended reign at the top of the rankings have made her the player everyone wants to beat. For Gauff, every match against Świątek is both a test and an opportunity. It's a measuring stick, a chance to prove that her own Grand Slam success is not a one-off moment, but the beginning of something sustained. The animosity, as some have labeled it, doesn't come from public spats or controversial quotes. Instead, it lives in body language, in intensity during changeovers, in the way rallies stretch just a shot longer than usual. It's visible in how fiercely both players celebrate key points against each other, and how neither seems willing to give an inch. The former American pro noted that this kind of tension often produces the highest level of tennis. Because either player is content with simply playing well, they want to dominate. As the Australian Open approaches, this narrative gains even more weight. Melbourne has historically been a stage where rivalries either ignite or reach new heights. The hard courts reward power, movement, and mental resilience, qualities that both Gauff and Świątek possess in abundance. For fans, the prospect of another chapter in their rivalry is tantalizing. For the players, it's a chance to set the tone for the entire season. Coco Gauff enters the tournament with growing confidence and maturity. Her recent performances suggest a player who understands her game better than ever before. She's serving smarter, defending with purpose, and choosing her moments to attack with increasing precision. Against Świątek, Gauff has learned that raw athleticism alone isn't enough. She must be patient, strategic, and emotionally controlled, lessons she appears to be embracing. Świątek, meanwhile, carries the weight of expectation. As the established champion, she is constantly under scrutiny, every loss magnified, every win analyzed for signs of vulnerability. Facing Gauff is not just about advancing in a draw, it's about maintaining her aura of dominance. The former American pro pointed out that this pressure can subtly influence how a rivalry develops. When one player is chasing and the other is defending their throne, tension is inevitable. What makes their rivalry especially fascinating is the mutual respect that exists beneath the surface. Neither player dismisses the other. Świątek has repeatedly acknowledged Gauff's athleticism and fighting spirit, while Gauff has spoken about Świątek's consistency and mental strength. Yet respect does not cancel out competitiveness. In fact, it often intensifies it. When players truly believe the opponent across the net is worthy, every point becomes personal. The former American pro emphasized that animosity in tennis doesn't have to be hostile to be real. Sometimes it's about motivation, about using the presence of a specific opponent to unlock a higher level of focus. In that sense, Gauff and Swiatek may be pushing each other toward greatness, whether consciously or not. Each encounter adds layers to their story, shaping how they prepare, how they adjust, and how they see themselves within the sport. As media attention grows, so does the spotlight on every interaction between them. A glance at the net, a delayed handshake, a subdued celebration, all become fodder for analysis. Yet both players have shown remarkable maturity in navigating this attention. Gauff, especially, has demonstrated an ability to handle narratives without letting them derail her performance. Swiatek, known for her mental routines and structured approach, appears equally equipped to block out noise. The Australian Open could serve as a pivotal moment. A deep run by either player, especially if it includes a head-to-head clash, would send a powerful message. For Gauff, a statement win over Swiatek on such a stage would reinforce her status as a true rival, not just a talented challenger. For Swiatek, another victory would reaffirm her authority, and remind the field why she remains the player to beat. Beyond individual matches, this rivalry carries broader implications for women's tennis. Fans crave narratives that span seasons, not just tournaments. Gauff vs. Swiatek has the potential to be exactly that, a storyline that evolves with each meeting, shaped by changing rankings, shifting confidence, and the natural progression of two elite careers. The former American pro suggested that this is the kind of rivalry that draws in casual viewers and keeps dedicated fans invested. There's also a generational element at play. Both players are part of a new wave redefining the women's game. Their rivalry symbolizes a transition, a passing of the torch from one era to the next. As established champions step back and emerging stars step forward, Gauff and Swiatek stand at the forefront, carrying expectations not just for themselves but for the future of the sport. As the countdown to the Australian Open continues, the intrigue only deepens. Practice sessions, draw announcements, and pre-tournament interviews will all be viewed through the lens of this rivalry. Every comment will be parsed, every smile scrutinized. And when the matches finally begin, the focus will inevitably shift to whether fate will bring these two together once more. In the end, animosity, intrigue, rivalry, whatever label one chooses, it all points to the same conclusion. Coco Gauff and Iga Świątek bring out something special in each other. They challenge, motivate, and elevate one another in ways that few opponents can. As Steffan here on Trending Update USA, I can tell you this with confidence. If they meet again at the Australian Open, it won't just be a match. It will be a moment, a chapter in a story that is still being written, and a reminder of why tennis rivalries remain one of the most captivating elements in all of sports. And that's exactly why the tennis world is watching.